Apologies to
My
interrupt.
problem
Can I just ask
is
you,
have to regulate, you have to actually have what? Sorry.
Can I just ask you really quickly, do you prescribe to the theory that is going around and it is shared by a lot of people within the crypto industry? This is all part of Choke Point 2.0?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. Look, the reality is, the other answer to your question from before is, do these exchanges flaunt the law? They did in the same way that auto manufacturers did in the 20s and 30s, because all the rules of roads applied to horses. It's the same thing that happened with airlines and when airplanes started flying before the FAA came in 30 years later. The reality is we had this new asset class, which was highly in demand by American investors and global investors. In fact, a much more inclusive asset class that has a higher percentage of participation in less rich people and in minorities than equities do, for example. And you have this asset class that is threatening to the oligopoly of the financial institutions worldwide. So the argument that these exchanges are flouting the law when laws don't exist to actually help, and these same exchanges, I mean, Coinbase went into the SEC asking for clarity, asking to work with them.
The law does exist to protect. Sorry, may I just come in? I was just talking about how the law does exist to protect if there's any misinformation or harm being done to investors. And maybe that's where the problem lies, because the lines are so blurred that, issues around investor protection may have been overlooked, or may have, they would have perhaps crossed the line.
It's possible. I'm not going to lie about that. Obviously, it's possible. The truth of the matter is, as I said before, when it comes to tokens and tokenomics and issuers, the rules don't prevent the misinformation because, in fact, it doesn't even talk about what actually matters for the price of those tokens. When it comes to secondary trading, there's zero clarity in the rules. And that is a serious problem. I mean, my company, CoinRoutes, we focus on best execution, but we care a lot about doing things that are for investors to try to help mature the markets. And there are many CEOs that have spoken up over the last week specifically about doing things to protect investors. But one thing that does not protect investors is to destroy an entire industry. What does protect investors is to work with that industry. And what's really sad about the timing, I don't know if you two saw that the US Congress came out with a 168-page proposal. That proposal, the very first thing it said was, don't regulate by enforcement. Regulate by rules that make sense and are agreed to. And that's really all that most firms, especially ours, cares about, is real, actual regulation that applies.